Integrating neuroscience into coaching practice, it requires consideration of the ethical principles to ensure that we're doing it responsibly and we're doing it ethically. So while neuroscience offers valuable knowledge and tools, we also need to consider how we're applying it in coaching and making sure that we're telling people the right things and then we're acting in a way that is safe as well. So how do we do that? Well, here's a few things that you can consider. First of all is informed consent. And this means that people have all of the information that they need and the choice whether or not they take part in something. So you need to obtain consent from people that are relying on you for coaching or training or teaching before you start to incorporate any techniques or into your interventions. This means that people need to be provided with clear and understandable information about the purpose, any potential benefits, as well as any possible risks of using the approach that you choose to adopt. And that's the key to informed consent, is that they know everything that they need to know and they have a choice as to whether or not they take part. The next thing is confidentiality and privacy. So you have a responsibility to maintain the confidentiality and privacy of the people who rely on you. This includes their personal information, but it also includes any neuroscientific assessments or any data that you collect on them as well. So this means that you need to securely store and handle information very sensitively. And if you're going to collect any data, you need consent before you do that. Where you can, also de-identify data or anonymize data. We do this with our brain scans. After we scan people's brains, we consider it biological data, so we store it on a secure server. And before we upload it to the cloud for our team to work on to put together our reports, we de-identify everything and we only reattach the identifiers when it comes off the cloud as well. So there are steps that you can take that it makes it quite easy. You just have to be aware of it and do it. Now, the next one is around competence and professionalism. You need the necessary competence and qualifications to integrate neuroscience into your coaching practice. And this includes staying up to date with the current research. Neuroscience is so fast moving that you need to stay up to date. And we do that for you as well. Join our community, you'll stay up to date. But you also need to understand the limitations of what you do. You can't tell somebody, I'm going to rewrite your neural pathways, and that's going to make you never have a bad thought again. That's not real. That's not true. That's not how it is. And I'm going to talk about misrepresenting in just a second, but you need to understand the limitations and also the ethical implications of what you're doing. And if you're not sure, seek out some more training or seek out consultation from experts if you need to. We even do this. We have a R&D team which is filled with a whole bunch of smart people, and we go and ask people things when we don't need to, even though there's probably 6 PhDs in the room whenever we're meeting. Now, the other thing that you should do is you should look at any ethical guidelines and standards that are set out by any bodies or organizations that you're a part of, and also any legal legislations in your area. Now, the next thing is avoiding misrepresentation. This one is massive. This one really frustrates me as well. You need to accurately represent the scientific knowledge and the evidence when you discuss neuroscientific concepts with people. If you misrepresent or exaggerate the implications or the effectiveness of things, this leads to false expectations or misleading interpretations. And one that I see a lot is people talking about therapy. You can't say that you do therapy unless you're a psychologist or somebody that is working in that area and you're certified and you are licensed by a regulating body. And in Australia, it's APRA. If you say things like, I come and do some neurotraining therapy, that's a misleading interpretation. You're letting people think something which isn't quite real, and you can actually be fined for that as well. It's illegal. I don't know if it's a criminal act. I don't think it's a criminal act, but it's illegal and you could be fined. So it is important to provide a balanced and a realistic understanding of the neuroscientific principles and their potential applications so that people have informed consent, so that they know what they need to know. You also need to think about ethical boundaries and dual relationships. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, when we coach people or train or teach them or even lead them, we develop different relationships that may extend beyond the professional. So you need to be sure to maintain clear ethical boundaries and avoid engaging in dual relationships. You are their coach or their teacher or their trainer. That is the role that you have with them. If you engage in dual relationships, this might compromise objectivity. It could compromise confidentiality or even the coach-coachee relationship. Now, when we apply neuroscientific techniques, this shouldn't blur professional boundaries. It shouldn't create conflicts of interest either. You always need to prioritize the best interests of the people who are relying on you as their coach, as their teacher, as their trainer, so that you can maintain a focus on their total well-being and also on their growth and their discovery and their development into brilliance as well. Now, if you're unsure, reach out. Reach out to me. I really enjoy ethics. Actually, I originally wanted to do a neuroscience-based ethics PhD, but people don't pay a lot of attention to ethics, unfortunately. So if you do want to chat about it, please reach out, because there's a lot of different ways that you can cut this cake up, and it's really important that we're able to do things in a responsible and an ethical way. We work so hard at building evidence-based solutions, and we work so hard at creating an industry that is respected, and it's such a shame when we see people who are misrepresenting or using a little bit too much marketing spin to make things sound better than they are, and it just brings the whole industry into disrepute. By you being unethical, it affects me, and by me being unethical, it affects you. So it's not just about you, it's about the industry, it's about everybody that's involved in this, and it always comes back to that thing that we need to be doing the right thing by our clients. And this is why we encourage you to engage in ongoing self-reflection. It's why we encourage you to continue your education and to continue to consult with peers or even ethical committees to further support your own knowledge and your own perspective on things, so that you can make informed and ethically sound decisions when you are incorporating neuroscience into your coaching practice. Bye now.